Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. It is Wednesday. It's August 19th. This will be our chart lesson for today. An interesting day. In the end, it's just a big range. Um, but we had a big trend down, a big trend up, and then another big trend down. This was pretty much after 2 o'clock, late in the afternoon. I didn't really mark anything in here because by the time you got your break of this channel, it was right in the 2 o'clock hour. There's actually a short you could have taken. There's a failed second entry long here, but it's not a very good setup in my opinion. But when we pulled back here and tested it with enough room to get out before you got to here, I was okay with this one. So I probably should mark it as a short. I'll go ahead and mark that one. Um, but for the most part, I think you want to just stay out of the afternoon stuff. But I will mark that one. It's not a great signal bar, but it's still good enough that you know prices are coming at least to here. And because of the overshoot, especially one that big, you're probably going to get a big overshoot on the other side. So that's why I like that one. But let's back out, talk about the trades. Just as of yesterday, there were only 7 or 8, but then you get to the day like today and you get a bunch of trades. So um, the first one I saw was right after the 7 o'clock hour. Um, Notice there's a higher low here. You really could have considered going short below that one. I can't remember exactly what time that one set up. That's way too early. So you didn't really get your even this one. Well, even that one's uh, really it doesn't set up till almost right out 7 o'clock. So skip that one. If you wanted to, if you were trading, you could consider going short there. It's a third attempt to go higher that fails. That's like even though you would have got a scalp out of that to the upside, it's like a failed second entry short. So that's why I say that. But you got a little higher low here, so you get a second entry short off of this move up. And I probably should go ahead and draw the little short-term trend line. Oops, wrong one. Comes up right there, and you get the break, and you tried to go higher, and you get a little higher low. So I like that one for a short if you're trading yet. Um, Quick, easy scalp, nothing more. And then it pulls back and tests that trend line and confirms it. So that's a confirmation. You really get a confirmation here, but this just further confirms it. It's not a perfect signal bar, um, but it closes within a tick of being on its low, and it closes in its lower third and really a tick or two off its low. So you might have used a limit order, but I'm okay with the stop right there because you've tried to go higher. This is, you know, 2 times off this trend line, and that really, and you've confirmed it a couple of different times almost really. So it's like a second entry short there. It is, well, it's not like it is a second entry short right there. And you got a big move down. I didn't like this one. This is really a breakout pullback short for this area right in here, this little area. But you still got the lows right there, and it's just really risky. So I didn't like it. You finally try to go higher once, you pull back and you try to go higher again. Let me make this a little bit bigger. It's kind of hard to see there. And I really meant to make this one green because, and the reason being is because there's not but just a little bit of room between the low, and that's the low of the day. The only thing you really got going for you is at that point, you're looking at this trend line down here um, as a possible, it's way down here, so there's a lot of room down there to that blue trend line. I really didn't go with the red one until you got this bounce right here, until you turned down right there, and when I drew it, then it all fit together. You probably could have found it a little bit earlier if you'd been looking for it, but the blue one is the shorter term one, and at that point, it's really the more important one. It looks like a spike and channel down, and it maybe is because we really never got a break of this one till here, and we never had a retest of the low. So I believe most people were looking at this as a spike and channel down, um, and you got your break here, move to a new low, and notice there's one leg, and they're pretty much two measured legs. There's your first leg down, And then there's your measured leg. You didn't quite get a measured leg, but it's close enough. And really your downtrend started here, so you could almost measure it from there. Still doesn't really change anything. You still don't quite get your measured move down. But anyway, needless to say, um, I was playing this blue one at this point, and so you weren't quite there yet, and you tried to go higher twice. It's a little risky, like I said, so it's right there borderline of being green or being red. Um, at the time I took it, I would have called it red. Looking back on it, it's so close that it could go either way. So, but I'm gonna leave it red for the reasons I just discussed. It's coming off the midline twice, double testing it after you've touched it here. Um, the only reason I really don't like it is because it's so close to that low and you don't have room to scalp out. But if you're paying attention and you see the blue channel, you know you haven't hit the low side. That doesn't mean anything because sometimes you don't get there. But this is a pretty good move down, and you really expect it to test this low again, although it could go one tick and bounce. So that's the reason it's real close. Once you came off that low side, even though it looked like you were going to get a failed second entry long here, and then I would have been okay going short, but you never really got it. So I don't think you want to go short here or here. I think you're better off just to watch this because you've bounced off your low, and generally that means you're going to the other side. But it went a little lower, and then it bounced again, and then it went to the other side. So, but notice how you're working up. You get a close outside, a move to a new high, and then you get this big bearish bar. Um, Again, you might use a limit order, but I'm okay just using a stop right there. Um, Another quick, easy move, and then it turns up. And then notice the little short-term trend line coming up. You get the close outside. You get a move to a new high, and it turns down. And this is your second entry short. Notice it's moving up. First entry, pull back, second entry. So you got a break, two measured legs to a new high, and a second entry short. This is your signal bar. This is really your signal bar, but you can't go short below it. So you wait on this one. Um, it's not completely bearish, but it's got a more bearish tint to it. So you might have thought again about a limit order, but I'm okay with a stop there. It is a second entry. It is a bearish bar. Just put it back here where you would have gotten triggered on this one, and if it fills you and turns down, that's great. Then you get another. You really get a second entry short here, but I didn't like that. The fact that it bounced that soon. And that does confirm that trend line, but it's just not a bearish enough bar. So when it turns back up here and fails and immediately goes out the bottom, all on that one little bar, that's like a breakout pullback short. It's a failed second entry long. There's a lot of reasons to think going short there. You could have even gone short below this bar, but I think you're better off going short one tick below this little bar right here. And then this one's off to the races. Don't further down. Um, you get a bounce. You really don't get a setup here. It's a first entry. You never get a second entry. And then you turn down right here. So, and you get another turn down right off of that trend line. I went back and forth about whether or not to make this one green. But notice this, you get a pullback. That's close enough to be a two-legged correction. Even though it made a little lower low here on a bigger picture, you could probably look at that as a two-legged pullback to the trend line. And, you know, this thing's holding every time. You get a nice small bearish bar. You figure you'll probably get enough. If you draw your little short-term trend line there, you don't have a break yet. So that's another reason. So this one really probably should be green. And I'm probably going to change it. Anyway, it turns down, it comes back. This is the better place to enter. You get another turn down right off the trend line. Everything closes, so you still don't have a close outside that trend line. Just go. This is your signal bar. Just go short below it, or wait on a break below it and try to get in with a limit order where it would have triggered below the real one, right? The actual first signal bar. But it's not a good enough signal bar, so you really needed to wait on this one. I'm okay with just using a stop there, though, and off it goes. And there's really a failed second entry short right here, but you got all that support across there. It's not off the EMA. It's not off the trend line. It's congestion, so I'm not crazy about it. I didn't mark it. But then you get another Notice the new low, pull back first entry, pull back another second entry short right off that trend line. And so I like that one. It makes a new low, and then we bounce here. And again, this was the first break, so I was still looking at short. So notice this new low. Now let me draw this short-term trend line. And this is almost a perfect repeat pattern of this right here. Hopefully you notice that. You get the break, two legs up, and you get a nice bearish reversal bar. And it's almost a perfect repeat pattern. Just go short there. Another quick, easy move, and it bounces. If you're paying attention, you could treat this like a failed, even though you would have got your scalp, you could still treat it like a failed second entry short and go long right there. It's real aggressive, but look, that's what the ones types that pay off, and a lot of traders are going to want to be more aggressive. So, and look at it go. Easy to see after the fact, but you got to be paying attention during the actual trading and understand that. Again, it's real aggressive, but I am going to mark it green because there's some traders that are at that point that I guarantee you took that trade right there. Then you pull back. Notice that new low right there. First entry, pull back second entry. That's a failed second entry short. You really could have gone. It's tempting to go long right here, and you could have. Again, it's probably should be green, but notice this new low, first entry, pull back. There's your second entry. So that one really doesn't even have to be green. I probably should just circle that one blue. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that one. But if you did take that one, when it turned back down again and went higher, I'm okay with going long again there, adding on. And if you didn't get in on the first one, I definitely think you should get in on this one. But I like adding on there too. And then watch what happens. You pull back, you get a break, a new low, but that's a pull back first entry, pull back second entry. It bounces right off that trend line and confirms it. You definitely want to go long right there. Nice trade. And it just takes off. And where does it go? Right to the other side. It overshoots it a little bit. And then pull back first entry, pull back second entry. I don't like this bar here, but you get a nice signal bar right here. Go long above it. Notice the break of the short-term trend line, new low. Very nice setup. And notice what happens. First entry, pull back second entry short. It fails. This is at the high of this, but we overshot it right there too. So there's a good chance that we maybe there's another measured move here. This is pretty aggressive, but I liked it because we're trending higher now. This thing's getting stronger, it seems like every time. And it turned out to be a really nice trade. You don't know it's going to do that. I was just looking for a scalp. And that's what you'd be looking for there, but you see what happens. And then you start trending down. You had this huge overshoot here. Normally I would not have marked a short here, but you can see this reversal type pattern is a failed second entry long there. I don't like that one because there's a chance you could get trapped. But when it comes back up, and notice the first two swings, and this confirms that trend line working down, you still got enough to get out even if it bounces here. So I like that one. It's not a perfect signal bar either. So you might have wanted to use the limit order. It's real close to being green, and maybe it should be, but I think if you're reading the price action properly, this is a no-brainer right here. And it turns out to be a great trade. And any runners would be safe, and you ride them, get as much out of that as you can. And then that got you into the 2 o'clock hour. I don't think you want to go short here because now you've had your overshoot, and you're not going to take a first entry with that close to the low when you don't have a retested high. But a lot of times, remember this, I say this every now and then, not every day, because you don't see it every day, but when you get a big overshoot of a channel, sometimes that leads to a reversal without a retest because the market was just so overdone, and then all the selling runs in, and there's just not enough momentum to get you back. And look at this, it just continued down right basically into the close there. So really good trading day. Lots of trades today that made up for yesterday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 trades, not counting the aggressive green ones. 17 counting the green ones, and you probably could throw a couple other green ones in there if you really wanted to be picky about it. So nice trading day. In the end, it's just a big range type day. We closed down for the most part, but nice trend down and nice trend right back up. So really good day. So not much else we can say about today. I'll back out where you can see the big picture again. Hopefully you had a good trading day. And we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.